My name is Merlo. I'm 26 years old from France, and I play StarCraft 2 as Protoss.
Can you tell us a little bit about your video game history, when you started playing and when you started to get serious?
I started playing video games in general a long time ago when I was very young, and I started playing seriously around 2002 or 3 when I was playing Warcraft. And that's pretty much when I really wanted to become good and put a lot of time and practice into it.
I know you played Command & Conquer, right? And the original StarCraft before Warcraft 3, right?
Yeah, I played Command & Conquer, but I wasn't taking it too seriously, but I really enjoyed playing it.
Can you tell us a little bit about your Warcraft 3 career, where you played, some accomplishments?
I played in China and Korea for quite some time. I lived there. And I played tournaments and traveled all around the world. Some of my accomplishments include winning tournaments in China, in Germany, against the world's best players. So, yeah.
Great. When did you decide to make the switch to StarCraft 2?
I didn't decide to make the switch. I quit Warcraft, and then I was off the games for quite some time. And when StarCraft came out, and before StarCraft came out, I wasn't planning on playing it or even going professional in it. But eventually, a few months after it was released, in last November actually, my friends were pressuring me a lot to come play with them for fun, and then I started playing a little bit. And I really hate losing, so as soon as I lost a game, I would go for 10 more and try to win every one of them, but then I lose one more, so I have to go for 10 more. And eventually, this led me to having a pretty decent level. And from there on, slowly, I became professional in StarCraft 2.
Well, how did that happen? How did you get a team and start attending events?
Shortly after I started playing StarCraft 2, I already had some offers because I was quite popular in Warcraft. And yeah, so a lot of teams wanted to recruit me. But I didn't want to rush it, so I took some time and waited to see what my motivation would be playing StarCraft 2 and what skill I could acquire in a short period of time. And once I kind of figured that out, I decided to rejoin Millennium, which is a French team that sponsors players and send them to a lot of events. I think it's the best multi-gaming team in France, so the choice was pretty easy.
So you said you wanted to take your time to figure out what your motivation was. So what is your motivation?
Well, when I first started playing, my objective was to be in the top French players. And after 2 months playing, I played a tournament in France and I finished second in it. So I achieved that quite quickly. And then I wanted to be one of the top Europeans. And I practiced a lot. I'm not sure I have achieved that now, but I guess I'm like one of the good players in Europe, maybe not one of the top ones. And the next step, if I ever am to be one of the top players in Europe, would be top in the world. So I'm just taking it one step at a time, practicing a lot, and just focusing on winning my games for now.
In a recent interview on Well Played, you talked about your practice schedule and your life, and you described it as kind of unhealthy. You know what I mean? You said like you wake up whenever you wake up. Is it still that way, do you think?
These days I try to discipline myself a little bit more, but yeah, it's true that it's really hard because I don't have any coach behind me or anything, so I can do pretty much whatever I want. So that's why I go to sleep anytime, eat anytime. But I think it's bad in general, like to live in such an unhealthy way, because when I come to tournaments, like I have to wake up at specific times, and you need to have good stamina. You have to play a lot of games. For example, right now I'm really tired. And I'm hungry, and it's going to be really difficult because it's a marathon in the loser bracket. I have to play a lot of games.
So do you want to coach? You mentioned you wanted to maybe go to a pro gaming house. Is that a goal for you?
I don't want to coach.
You don't want to coach?
It would be, well, I mean, if somebody can give me some directions, like I know what I have to do to live more healthy. It's just that it's really hard to do. But yeah, having a coach telling me, like, do this, do that, I don't know if I could take it. It would be very difficult. But yeah, I guess living in a Korean practice house could be very helpful to me, so that I could have a higher practice regime and just get better in general.
I bet you would have a coach though if you went to Korea and were in a house. You probably would have some strict.
Yeah, but I don't think I would join a Korean house. I would just go there as a guest.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm not gonna have a Korean coach. I think.
Okay, so this is your first time at an MLG, right? Can you?
Yes.
Now you've played and you've beaten Alicia. Can you sort of describe your run so far, who you've beaten and how you've played so far?
It's pretty funny because a lot of people were joking around saying that since there is no seedings, I will meet Alicia in first round. Then one friend told me that the day before I had to play him. And then I figured out he was joking, so I was like, oh yeah. Then the first day we had to play, he came again and he told me you have to play Alicia. And I was like, okay, you already tried that one. He's like, no, really. So I went to ask, and they were like, yeah, you really play Alicia. And I was like, Jesus Christ. It had to be me, like the only player who gets like one of the big favorites. And so I decided like not to let it wear me down and just like try my best. I've beaten a lot of Korean players when I played Warcraft, so I thought, why not in StarCraft 2? I can just play really well and maybe he won't expect me to be any good, which was the case. Just before I played him, he asked me what race I play, so I was kind of shocked that he didn't even know who I am. Because I spent a lot of time in Korea before, and I know a lot of Korean players know me. I even speak some Korean, like it should have given him some kind of suspicions about who I am. And I also beat Boxer in a tournament earlier online, so like, I mean, when I meet somebody that I don't know, I always ask my teammates or the people around me who is, but I guess Alicia didn't do that. So yeah, when he asked me what race I play before the game, I was like pretty happy because I knew he had no idea who I am, and it gave me an idea sort of on in what way he will play against me. And the games went pretty well. He just tried to 4 gates kind of blindly with some late scouting. And I was able to hold it off barely in the first game especially, and then after that I was ahead, and I just focused on getting more ahead. I didn't want to make any big mistakes going in and just giving him the lead back. So that went pretty well.
It's funny because other Koreans have said that they really don't know any of the players here. Like if they're not Korean, they don't care. They're not even trying to figure it out. They're just waiting until they play other Koreans later on in the tournament. So like they're not trying to figure anything out, I think, as far as that goes. So the format, we talked about how you're tired and you have to have a lot of stamina. I think a lot of people complain about the format, whether or not they have a healthy or unhealthy lifestyle, because it's so hard. Do you think that it ought to be changed?
I mean, it should be changed, in my opinion, especially when so many players right now are coming from so far away. There is a lot of Koreans, some Europeans. It's getting really tough. It's extremely competitive. And the format was suitable, I guess, like when the game first came out, the few first MLGs, it was okay. But now there's too many good players. I think they really need to change that, like fighting each other in the open bracket. And like it's almost impossible to make it for the pool play in the next MLG. Also, you need to get like top 5 at these tournaments. But there is a lot of deserving players who should be in the pool play. So I really hope they take a look into this and change the system they use.
So obviously you've been to a lot of big tournaments. Can you sort of contrast it to how you feel about this tournament versus tournaments in China, Europe, and other Warcraft tournaments?
I really like the tournaments in the US because for me the air conditioning is very important, and I think there is no country that has better air conditioning than here. And if I can keep my head cool, usually I play really well, but if it gets hot, I play bad. So it's like one of the better places here for me to play. But there is always, in every tournament, there is good things and bad things. But I guess there is a lot of good things in this tournament I was happy about, and a few bad things that I hope they will try to improve.
What's your goal this tournament? What place would you reach whether you declare this tournament a success?
I think it's already been a success so far. I knocked out one of the Korean. We've seen very few people beating Koreans, the foreigners, so I'm already quite satisfied with that. And I played well in most of my games, especially so far today. So even if I was to lose now, I guess I will still be pretty satisfied about my run. But of course, I would like to go further away in the tournament.
Okay, great. And in the big picture, as far as goals go, you talked about you wanted to go to Korea. Do you have any specific other tournaments that you'd like to attend and do well in, or any other goals that you want to talk about?
Just want to get much better at the game, and when I come to tournaments, I want to be able to perform and like really be aiming for like the top 4 or top 6, or maybe even top 3 or 2 or 1. Right now, that's not really the case. I just come here thinking I will take it match by match, go as far as I can. But realistically, I know that it's extremely hard for me to make it in the top 5 or even top 10. So I really want that feeling to change. I want that when I go to tournament, I'll have some confidence, and I know I can go really far away in it.
Okay, well, after this, I think everyone's going to be rooting for you to do that. So I think we're done. So thank you very much for the interview. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Good luck in the tournament.